morning. I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church, right here in Beaumont, Texas. And we're here on what's happening in our neighborhood. And today, my special guest is Mr. George Millhouse. Welcome, George.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, listen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from Alabama, Selma, Alabama. I graduated in 1980. Went to Clarendon Junior College. From there, I transferred from Clarendon to Lamar on a basketball scholarship. And played 2 years at Lamar where we won 2 championships, conference championships. And from there, I spent 28 years at Lamar University in the law enforcement division.
Hey, George, you know, I always tell people once they get in Beaumont, they never get out.
That's true. That's true. You're absolutely right.
So you played basketball at Lamar?
Yes.
So and y'all won what?
2 conference championships.
So now what team were you with? Were you with B.B. Davis and
No, I was after B.B. Davis.
You was after B.B. Davis?
I was after B.B. Davis. I played with Kenneth Perkins.
Okay, oh man.
Kenneth Perkins and Tommy Sewell. Tommy Sewell went first round that year. He his senior year. So he played with the Washington Bullets at the time. As I think they've changed the name since then.
So now, if I recall correctly, y'all were playing in the Civic Center back then.
We were at the Civic Center.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so really, your class helped build the Montaigne Center.
That's true. That's true.
see, you ought to take recognition for that. I mean,
Okay.
So George, you're here today because you have decided to run for office. So tell us what office you're running for, and tell us why did you decide to run for office.
I'm running for the Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Place 1. That seat is currently held by Judge Dallinger, and he decided that he's not going to run again. So after hearing that and going home and speaking to my wife and complaining constantly to her that something needs to be done, she encouraged me that I should run.
You know, I always say those who sit on the sideline and complain, they need to get in the game.
That's right. That's right. And that's what she said. So I got in the game. I'm in the game, and I'm in the game to win.
So what background do you have that would qualify you to become Justice of the Peace Precinct 1?
First of all, my family life. I have a wonderful wife who's enabled me to give me a stable lifestyle.
That George, that's a good plug right there. Hey, listen, if you're watching, give your wife the plug at the beginning. Go ahead. I'm sorry, George. Go ahead.
But yes, a stable lifestyle with a wonderful wife, and from there, I've obtained supervisory experience at Lamar University. I worked my way up from a dispatcher to a police officer, from a police officer to a sergeant, which was the first minority sergeant at Lamar University, and then to a lieutenant, also first minority lieutenant at Lamar University.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey George, I'm looking at some of your credentials. Master Peace Officer certification from Texas Commission of Law Enforcement.
Yes.
A bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Yes. Police
lieutenant at Lamar University for 28 years. TCOLE. Instructor, what's that?
That's the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement.
Okay, bailiff at the Jefferson County Courtroom,
yes,
courtroom procedures, criminal law. Man, you got all these. Look, I tell you what, I'm just gonna put them up on the screen that way everybody else can see them while I'm reading them all.
Awesome.
So that they can see them. But also the public relations training, civil and criminal law training, traffic law, culture diversity training, ethics training, human trafficking training, juvenile law, and relations counseling.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, George, that's awesome. So now, when it comes down to dealing with difficult situations and difficult troubled youth and violence and traffic violations, I mean, tell us your experience on that.
That's when dealing with juveniles, that's a complex issue right there, because juveniles, they have their own set of laws. Juveniles they are not mature yet, so you have to deal with them delicately and on their level. So what I try to do is I try to reach the kids at their level, and I try to explain to them exactly what I'm about, what am I going to do, and encourage them. A lot of encourage and mentoring the kids in situations. Now, as far as The family violence issue, I like to listen. When I go into a situation, we separate individuals and we listen to them. And once we listen, get an understanding on what's happening, then we can make the appropriate decision on what needs to take place.
Yeah.
Traffic violence, well, that pretty much speaks for itself as
Yeah.
far as traffic violations.
Yeah.
You know, somebody run a stop sign. Well, I'm going to issue, I may issue you a traffic citation. Or we just may stand there and talk a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And so that's basically dealing with those situations. It comes down to listening, and I believe I'm a good listener.
Okay. So how did you deal with disputes among employees?
There again, listening. Listening plays a major part in being a supervisor. And when you have a situation, for instance, I had a situation where one employee would come to work, and she liked the stapler on this side of the room. I had another employee that came to work, she wanted on this side of the room.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, wait a minute. When you come to work, you move it over here.
Yeah.
When you come to work, you move it over here. Why are we making this difficult? And a lot of times, that's what we find out, that when if you're not listening to what they're really saying, you can't solve the problem. So listen to what they're saying. Lots of it's simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
So okay. So what would be some of your top priorities if you were elected to the office of Precinct 1, Justice of the Peace?
Top priorities is to go in to evaluate my staff, to ensure that they are working at high efficiency, that caseloads are being moved, that we all can work together as a unit, and loyalty. Loyalty means a lot to me. When you work for someone, you must be loyal to that person. You can't backbite someone. You can't talk behind someone's back. You must be upfront with them and speak candid with them. Explain to them exactly what you want. What I like to do is I like for everyone to be very diversified in every field of the department. So if I need you over here, you can work in that department.
Yeah.
If I need you over here, don't tell me I don't know how to do it. Well, guess what? You've just earned a badge of training. You will be trained on how to do that.
You got to multitask.
Because it does not stop.
Yeah.
Work does not stop.
Yeah.
So I go in. If I know your job, you should know my job. If you know,
right.
In the same way with other people, and that's just the way I look at it. So that's one of my priorities, is to see where the knowledge of people, what they know, and loyalty, and also their preparation. I want to make sure that they're prepared, they know what they're doing, and they're up on the law.
Okay. Now, many people who may be watching may not know exactly what a Justice of the Peace is and what their responsibilities are. So, can you help us understand, what does a Justice of the Peace do?
A Justice of the Peace handles, well, first of all, let me just tell you about Precinct 1. Precinct 1 begins, and I would like to say, from Brooks Road, where everybody, west of Brooks Road, from Brooks Road all the way to Tram Road out to Bevel Oaks.
Wow.
And from Bevel Oaks to, like I said, Tram Road, and back around to Lawrence Drive, to the north end of Beaumont, and parts of the city, right in the middle part of the city.
Okay.
So it's a big area.
Gotcha.
So having that large area to cover, that's going to be very difficult.
Okay.
So with being so very difficult, having that large area and working, I must know what I'm doing in that area. So having that bigger area, what we would do is we would have a lot of traffic citations, because Jefferson County worked that area out there in that part of the city, in the county. Once Jefferson County brings in the citation, then we will process the citations and have people to come in, and we will address the citation. From there, they also handle small claims. They handle evictions. They handle any crime or Class C crimes.
Okay.
They also look at, well, as I stated, civil cases less than $10,000.
Right.
So those are the primary duties of her, not also including inquests. If there's a death, they go out on the scene,
Uh-huh.
or they have the opportunity to go out
Yeah,
on the scene.
yeah.
They can, or they can get the information. Once they get the information, then they put it into a report, which I've done a lot of reports. So having done a lot of reports, that's something that I'm comfortable doing. So me personally, I would go out to the scene and I would do a inquest on the scene. As I stated, a lot of JPs, they like to do it by phone. They talk to the investigator. Having investigation experience, I know what I'm looking for. I understand more about the situation.
Yeah.
And having that knowledge, it gives me an understanding on what's going on.
So really, a JP handles traffic violations, civil disputes.
Yes.
Whether it's with rentals.
Yes.
So I mean.
And that's one of the main ones.
Yeah.
That's one of them with rentals. The eviction that's going. But right now we have a lot of people that are homeless, that are out. They're looking for places to stay. So I encourage people, get out. There's plenty of vacant homes in Beaumont. Go out and get them.
Okay. Now, so what strengths do you bring to the table? I mean, to become the next JP of Precinct 1?
I believe my greatest strength is listening. And I believe as a judge, that's one of the qualities that you must have. You must be able to listen to people and understand what people are saying in order to make a equitable and fair decision. One thing that I like to stand on is 2 Corinthians 12:9. 12:9. My grace is sufficient.
Yeah.
Where it talks about that, and also it ends with, for my weakness, for I'm weak, I'm strong.
Yeah.
So that's where people say, well, you're strong there, but George, you're silent all the time. You don't talk. You don't get out.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm listening.
that's it. That's I believe that's where I'm strong at, because I am silent. I'm strong on that other end because I listen to people and I get a understanding on what's going on.
Now, so how does your previous background relate to being a judge?
As I stated earlier, with all the training or as you stated earlier, should I say, the training that I have acquired. One thing having that training, you deal with people. You talk to people. You're out constantly meeting people. So having this background with law enforcement enables me to make these decisions, because I had to make an immediate decision. As a judge, you don't have to make an immediate decision all the time.
Right.
So you get this paper in front of you, and the paper will say, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I have an opportunity to take a look at it beforehand and then render a decision once I enter the courtroom. But being on the street, working, you make these decisions immediately.
Yeah.
So I believe having that background and moving to the courtroom will help me do that. It enables me to make split decisions, equitable decisions, fair decisions, and honest decisions to benefit the people.
So George, in our closing moments, if what would you tell the people who are watching today on why they should vote for George Millhouse for the next Justice of the Peace of Precinct 1?
I would tell you, and may I? I would tell you, can you zoom in a little bit right here?
I got you. I got you covered, George. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
A responsible choice. Okay. A responsible choice. I have the experience. I have the knowledge, the know-how. If you elect me, I promise you, I will be out in the community, meeting you, greeting you, finding out what's going on, and assisting you any way possible to correcting those situations. I believe that everyone in Jefferson County, in my precinct, that I will be over, will get a fair and equitable ruling if you come to my court.
Well, hey man, I look. I thank you for coming in today to talk about your run for Justice of the Peace at Precinct 1. Now, like I said before, I admire anybody who steps up to the plate. to run for office, and I mean, you stepped up to the plate and you say,
Wow.
I'm going to get in the game.
Well, I'm going to get in the game. I'm getting in the game. Whew.
Hey, George, now, who was the coach when you were at Lamar?
Pat Foster.
Okay, so you told Pat, put me in the game, Pat. Come on, coach, put me in the game.
So I'm in the game. I'm in the game.
Hey, well, listen, now, George, if someone wanted to contact you to get involved in your campaign, how can they do that?
They can reach me at 409-659-7173 or at Millhouse, that's MILHOUSE, 4FORJP@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll put that right there on the bottom of your screen so that you can have that information.
Okay.
Again, that's Millhouse 4JP at gmail.com or 659-7173. You can get in contact with him. Hey, listen, George, I want to thank you for joining us today on What's Happening in Our Neighborhood.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, listen, thank you for joining us today also. Hey, listen, we'll see you next time on our broadcast right here on What's Happening in Our Neighborhood. We'll see you next time. Be blessed. Bye-bye.